Hello, hello. I'm Crystal Rosas inside of our Z100 Artist Interview Lounge presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. Today, this is That Girl. You've seen her serving on TikTok, also shutting down sets behind the DJ booth, now striking poses in Sports Illustrated. We see her blowing up. I mean, she went from DJing her high school proms to now spinning major parties. We're going to get to all that, plus her releasing her own singles. We are so excited. Please welcome the queen of TikTok and turntables, Xandra.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So good to see you here in New York, and you've been busy this week.
Yes, I've been losing my mind right now.
How are you feeling, girl? You're like sore and all
I
the
know.
things.
I'm like literally rubbing my shins because they hurt from walking around. No, I mean, I'm good. I'm just excited to be here. There's so much going on. I feel like in New York, I'm like not used to it. I'm not built for it, but you know, we're making it do.
Wait, why do you say that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm used to like Miami time. Like New York is like a whole new thing. Like the traffic, the rain, the walking. I'm like, I am not used to this. Like this is so different.
But we're so happy you're here, and I'm happy we got to chat too, because I didn't know about your background. You starting off loving music. It all popped off because of a festival you went to when you were like a teenager.
Yes. It started off when I went to Lollapalooza. And I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, so going to Chicago, like I never even came to New York. I thought like Chicago was the biggest city in the world. Like
It is a big city.
No, it is a big city, but I like literally, I was like, okay, it's like, you know, Tokyo, Paris, Chicago. Like that was my lineup of cities that I heard of. So I went to Lollapalooza. I saw Alice in Wonderland performing, and I was like, wow, I've never saw like a female DJ or anything. Like I didn't even think that really was a thing. And I was like, oh my gosh. I went home. I told my mom. She bought me a board, and I taught myself off YouTube. It's crazy times.
So cool. And I love that it was your mom that was wrangling behind you, saying, okay, you know, let's get you something.
Yeah, she was like, you need other hobbies than the hobbies you have right now. So she was like, I am all for DJing, which was really cool.
What was learning on YouTube University like? What were you looking up? How did you even learn how to DJ online like that?
Literally how to become a DJ.
Whoa.
Like I was like, how do you mix? I didn't even know like what programs you needed. So I was like, how to download Serato, how to download Rekordbox. And then off of that, you know, getting the correct, because you can't download stuff off of like Apple Music and all that. They have it encrypted, and like no Spotify. So then I had to figure out how to like download things off like just YouTube links or SoundCloud links. I was doing it all like very illegally. Like you were not supposed to be doing it like that. But I just needed to figure out a way how to make it work, and then I ended up figuring it out. And I was like awful at DJing at first. I had like these massive speakers, and I would just be like blowing out the windows of my childhood bedroom. And my mom was like, I regret this decision. 100%.
But how did you finesse being able to DJ at your homecoming and prom in high school? That's pretty cool.
I feel like I was just like obnoxious. I was so excited about what I was doing, and I went to like a super small private school, and it was like one of those weird schools where like the student council found out, and they're like, oh my gosh, like it would be so cool if you like DJ'd. And I was so nervous because imagine like, I don't know, I had an interesting high school experience. So especially, you know, being there and then DJing in front of like all my companions, my peers, I was really nervous, but honestly, it ended up being a lot of fun. But it was like random. They were like, will you do it? And I was like, of course. And then like this, oh my gosh, I remember the school came up, and to be like a thank you for me DJing, they gave me like these big speakers like on stage in front of everybody. And they were like, we're so proud of like Xandra. And I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. But yeah, I actually have never told that story because I remember like they were like, will you say something on the mic? And I was like, thank you, bye. And like I ran off stage.
Wait, even your school is supporting you. That is so sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet. I think they were also, I literally had like 80 kids in my class, 80, 90 kids in my grade. Like a very weird school. Very odd.
Yeah, you said that you had like an interesting time at school.
Yeah, I feel like I was just, I don't know, as a typical high schooler, you know, that's when you're going through like all like these crazy ups and downs, like you're meeting boys for the first time, and like I was just going through all of it. But at the same time, I like kind of put my head down, and I knew that I wanted to go to an amazing college. And my parents were like, just focus, focus, focus. And then I ended up getting to the college of my dreams. So it worked out.
Tell me about that, because we see all the time on TikTok those acceptance videos where you're like with the family behind you. And so how was it for you when you found out you got into Miami?
Oh my gosh. I was just so ecstatic. I mean, I can't even explain it. Going through the whole college admissions process is the most like grueling. Like, I remember I literally thought my hair was falling out. I was so stressed out. I applied ED to Miami. My older brother was like wicked smart, and we thought he was going to go to Harvard or something, and then like randomly on a whim was like, wait, I want to go to Miami. I was like, that's my school. Like, what are you doing? I was like, that is my school. So then when it came to me applying, like trying to get in, I was like so nervous. And then I remember I saw like, I was just like checking my email for like fun. I didn't even have anyone around me. I didn't know when the date was. And I was in my childhood bedroom, and I opened it up, and it was like, you've been admitted into University of Miami. It's like tears. I'm like screaming. My mom like thinks somebody's like dead, and I'm like, no. And then I checked I got a couple emails, and I was like, what is this? And I saw right next to it, it was like, you got a scholarship. And I was like, whoa. I was like, where's this coming from? I was not expecting that. And I was like all alone in my room. I had no idea what was happening. I feel like everyone has their parents. I was just balling. I don't know.
So then when you get accepted and you start going there, are you still DJing on this? How does that work?
Oh, yeah. So the reason why I really wanted to go to Miami was because of the music scene in general. I mean, growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio, there's not really at that point, I don't know. I can't speak for it now. I haven't lived there in like, oh my gosh, like a lot of years, I guess. So I knew I wanted to go there. And then my brother was in a fraternity. And so he was a year older than me. So I remember showing up to my first tailgate, and he talked to the social chair of the fraternity and was like, hey, can my sister DJ? And so I pulled up with my backpack with my computer in it, and I went and I was like, oh, I'm here to DJ. All the guys were like, you don't know what you're doing. I said, like, literally give me 5 minutes. And if I'm that bad, like, kick me off. I'm gone. And they're like, okay. And then I ended up DJing, I think, for like 2 hours at that tailgate, and then did pretty much every tailgate going forward until I graduated.
Dang. So you were in school studying, DJing.
Trying to study.
Yeah, trying to study.
Whoa.
So then what was that balance like?
It was crazy because at the beginning, I did my first club at 18, and, you know, when you're doing all that stuff, it's very... like, you have the worst slots. So my first DJ set I ever did was at this club called Wall, which is at the W in South Beach. It's now been shut down, but my set was from 4 to 5 a.m. And so I would literally go out, party with my friends all night. All my friends would go home. I'd have my backpack with me, and I'd go and like DJ a club.
Yeah, you're doing like the afters, like the
yeah. And I'd be like one friend, I was like, please. And they were like, girl, are you kidding me? And I'm like, Yep, it's just gonna be us. So
I have a drink ticket. You're fine. I'll give you the wristband.
I was like, I will get you unlimited tequila sodas. Please come with me. But yeah,
that brings me back too, because in radio, you know, you start off with the not the best slots.
Yes,
and then you start going up and moving up, and then you're from 4 to 5 a.m. But then you start doing, you know, like maybe 3 to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then you're now doing 2 a.m. You're like, whoa, I'm cracking.
Yeah,
that's so cool. So then you're also posting heavily on social media. I mean, your first TikTok, like, did you think that it was going to blow up, or you were just messing around?
I was just messing around. I had literally no idea what I was doing. I just remember I was going to these clubs, and I was like, hey, like, half the time I wouldn't even get paid, if paid anything. They would be like, okay, like, because it's such a competitive field. So they're like, if you don't take it, somebody else will. So either like take this, like take like $50, or we'll get somebody else to do it. And I was like, okay. So I just kept DJing for like that money, and half the time they wouldn't pay. And then it got to a point where I was like, I really want to kind of grow a career out of this. And I went to some of the people that were booking me, and I was like, what can I do? And they were like, get a following on social media. The more you can promote your shows, the more you can market them, the more money that we can give you, because that's the more tickets you can sell. And so I was like, oh, period. I was like, okay. So I pretty much went home, and I just started sharing every aspect of my life, just posting like video after video. I have no idea. I was like, let me just spill all the dirty secrets that everybody wants to know. And then that like nobody knew who I was, but I was just saying all the things that like nobody else was saying about my personal life, and people loved it. And I was like, okay, this is fun. But
did you have any or remember any of those videos that really popped off where you're like, okay, I did not think this one was gonna get crazy?
It was like one of the first talking videos that I did. I was getting ready for like a U Miami pool party, and I actually watched it a couple days ago, and I was like, this is the most like cringe, like unbearable video ever. But at that time, like I thought I was actually eating. Like I was like, this is so good. And I look back now like, oh my God, I can't believe I was saying that.
Wait, what was it about?
It was just about going to a U Miami pool party, and it was like one of the big ones of the year, and it was like the fraternity that I was like the sweetheart of, and I was like, this is the biggest pool party of the year. We're gonna have like 3 water slides, like a hot dog machine. I was like a slushy machine, like we have unlimited alcohol, and I'm like, I literally thought I was so cool. Like,
no, for real. But you were like that at the time. That was everything. That's the whole world at that moment.
No, I literally felt like the queen. And it was very evident in the video, and I look at it now, I'm like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing.
So then when you're posting a lot and you're in school, are people recognizing you at this point? Are people trying to be friends with you? What's that like?
I feel like, so it all happened when I was a senior.
Okay.
So I had my friends, I had my group, like everybody's been, seeing you on campus, and like literally how I felt, like the people that always saw you, like they didn't care. Most of the time they were hating on you actually, because they were like, this is just like everybody like knew who you were. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it really didn't change my college experience like at all until like I went like other places. That's when it started getting different. I was like, oh wait, what? Like I remember the first person that came up to me, they were like, oh my gosh, Xandra. And I was like, wait. I was like, how do you know my name? And then I forgot, because it's so hard to translate numbers into like real people. Mm-hmm. It's such a weird thing.
And then when you are graduating, I feel like that's such a culture shock for us when we graduate college. We're trying to figure out who we are, what are we doing next. What was that transition like for you?
It was really interesting for me, just because I feel like lots of people go straight into like a job or this and that. And I would just I really kind of dove straight into my DJing career and I signed with a management, and we started doing all that stuff together. I mean, I feel like it was a big transition, but at the same time not. But it was really kind of hard, like leaving this life that I thought was everything. I thought I was gonna like peak in college, and I was like, this is it. Life doesn't get any better. But honestly, moving on and becoming a bigger person, like I feel like life just keeps getting better and better.
That's beautiful. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
But also, it's cool because you started becoming your own artist. I mean, putting out your own work and your own singles. Mm-hmm. That's really brave to do. Yeah. What made you decide to go in that direction?
I was so nervous for such a long period of time, just because I knew whatever I wanted to put out, I wanted to feel 110% about it, because I knew that there was a lot of people watching. So I had to make sure that I was so confident, and I waited a long time to put out music. I feel like everybody was like asking for it. Even when I was in college, I was like working with some of my friends, and we were like trying to make music. I wouldn't say making music, attempting to. And I'm really glad I waited, to get the correct team behind me and to really understand the industry. And yeah, now we're putting out so much music. I'm really excited about it.
I want to talk about Body Say. It's such a like confident, like powerful, like it's a good vibe. Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to go that route for that?
I mean, when I released Body Say, we were working on that song for like so long, and I was going back and forth about like this is only get one first song. So I was like, what type of direction do we want to go? And I, when we made Body Say, I just like fell in love with it. And I don't know, I stand by my decision. I feel like to this day, I'm trying to figure out my sound. I'm trying to figure out who I am as an artist, who I am as a creator, who I am as a model. I feel like I'm just a baby in this industry, and I'm growing every single day. So I mean, I don't know. Body Say's my baby. But I don't know where we're going from there. I'm trying out a bunch of different things.
Well, we hear you in I'm Going Out. It's like a full-on party anthem. Yes. And then your feature Stevie Aoki. That is crazy. How did that happen?
So I I don't even know how to explain it. Our teams are like really close friends, and I went, and he had I remember being in college and being in Miami, like going to live, and I would always go and see his performance, and I was obsessed with him and always like such a big fan musically. And of his, if you go and see like a Steve Aoki like live show, you know that there's nothing like that. Like his energy is infectious. And so our teams actually kind of like, I guess, brought us together. They knew that I was such a big fan. We ended up having a conversation just kind of like about how can I grow in my career and like what he did. And he was just such an amazing mentor. And then we ended up started working on I'm Going Out, and then we brought in other amazing collaborators, and it was just a crazy experience. And then when that song came out, I mean, that just went #1 on dance radio, I think like last month or something, which was like crazy here. I was like, whoa. I mean, there's just so many crazy things going on. It's like really hard for me to like, I feel like understand it. I'm like the queen of disassociating. So I'm like, I can't believe I had a song that was #1 on dance radio with Steve Aoki. Like, that's crazy.
That's insane. And you even mentioned that he was your mentor. How did that go? What did you learn from working with him?
I mean, I learned that you never forget the way that he treats people and people around him, and wow. It's just so amazing. I mean, you hear so many horror stories about you know, the entertainment business, especially the music business, and to just see the way that how he interacts with other artists, with other people, and the respect he has, I feel like that was the #1 takeaway that I learned from him. It's just like, if you are a good person through and through, like good things will happen to you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't know that about him. I actually have never worked with him, but everything
He's
I see,
awesome.
yeah, that's everything that I see is just good vibes, and he can really read the room of a crowd so well.
Yes.
Which is such an art. Can you speak on that too? Because you've been doing this for years. Mm-hmm. Like, what is your secret to that?
I'd say my #1 secret is just I don't pre-plan my sets. Have this playlist that's been going since I was 16 of like all these different playlists called The Most Random Things. If anybody looks at my USBs, they're actually going to think it's gibberish, but to me it makes so much sense. And I feel like the #1 thing is just always, you know, sometimes you can play the things that you want to play, especially when you're a big enough artist. Like, you can go up there and play anything, but when you're really trying to grow in the industry, you have to be looking at the crowd, and like, especially if you're gonna switch up on genres, you have to be seeing how they're reacting and the body language. And you know, you could play a song that you may think absolutely hit, and the crowd is like dead silent, like everybody's kind of like looking around like, what is going on? I feel like you have to be very aware of that, and that's something that Steve's always been amazing at. He can play any crowd, anytime, anywhere.
And do you think that working in the studio has helped you to work on your live sets too? What parallels do you see in those areas?
I feel like it is kind of the same way. It's being, you know, when you're working in the studio, it's being very collaborative and being able to take a direction and listen to other people and their opinions, maybe if you don't want to hear it or you disagree with that. And I feel like that's how I've kind of grown as an artist. It's just you really have to listen to the people around you and to the people that care about you and care about your career. And, you know, some things that I've kind of been off on that I was like, oh my gosh, I was dead set on this. And other people are like, wait, this is like another direction that we can go. We think that this is, you know, better for you and your career. And I ended up listening to them, and I now 100% stand by their decision. Like, I was definitely wrong.
Do you have an example of that?
Oh my gosh, like so many of my songs, like every song that I come out with and all the songs going forward, I mean, we're making like 15 different versions of these songs. Like, literally, I'm so nitpicky about like everything. Like, we will go back and forth on 4 months. That's why I feel like it always takes me a while to put out music, because I'm just like so particular, and I feel like that's the biggest thing of like, we end up having so many versions. Like Body Say, there's probably like 12 full versions out there that like
one album of just one song.
No, literally. Of like, but they'll never see the light of day.
Yeah, Xandra's version.
Like, literally, yeah, Steve's version. And there's so many different versions of all these songs that people will never see, but you end up having to, you know, listen to people and on your team and listen to yourself and really kind of figure out like what's the best direction to go.
And when you're out doing your sets and you see people vibing to the music, but then the first time you put on your song on a live set.
Oh, awful. It wasn't awful. I was just like so nervous because I feel like I was playing banger, banger. And then it like got to like,
where was this?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the first time I played Body Say. I was going to lose my mind because you know how the song starts, it's like da 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 da. I was like, I'm pretty sure I cut the music and I like got on the mic. I was like, listen guys, I was like, I'm really nervous about this. This is my first song I've ever put out. I was like, you were the first ones hearing it and I really hope you like it and please have fun. I beg you. And they were like, the crowd, honestly, I feel like when you add emotion and I feel like people have been watching my journey for so long, and if the true fans are there, they know like everything, and they were bopping a Body Say. I was like, this is crazy, but I was so nervous putting it on. I'm pretty sure my voice was shaking. But that's how I am before I really like play any song for the first time in a live set.
That is so scary. Just hearing you say that, even though it went super well for you,
Yeah.
of course it did. But you're right. If you're playing a bop, a bop, a bop, and then you're like,
it's a song that nobody knows, and I'm like already so like not sure about how people are gonna react to it because like obviously I love it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, people might listen to this and be like, this is the most trash thing ever. And I'm just like so nervous about it. I'm like, please don't look sad. I like literally say that stuff in the mic. I feel like they know my personality, and if you come to a show, like I might say some crazy stuff on the mic.
I was just saying this to my man that you have to be your own hype person. If you don't make something important or fun or that it's about to be lit, how's anyone gonna
know? They're gonna be like, what is this random song that this girl is playing? Like you have to give an explanation behind it, and then I feel like people can see how excited I am, and I don't know, when I see someone excited about something, it makes me 10 times more excited about it. It's all about passion.
Yes. What about you playing at Lala?
Yes.
Yo.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
That's not an easy feat, especially because that was a place that birthed your love for following your passion of live music. So how was that full circle for you when you pulled up last year?
I had all my friends from home come. I had my best friend from college, my parents, my whole family.
Those wristbands were just...
No, the wristbands. I was like opening up like Perry's stage. I was such early slot. I was like, can I please have a guest list of 25, please? They were like, who is this girl? Like, who is she? And I was like, literally, please. It's like my grandma, my grandpa.
You don't understand.
It's like, this is very full circle moment.
What?
So I get there. I actually, this is Tate, but the night before I had a show and I was opening and oh my gosh, at Tao Chicago, and I had somebody yell at me, and I was like already so nervous about my set at Lollapalooza. I had 2 sets, and somebody yelled at me the night before because I was playing Body Say. It was my last song, and I went like 20 seconds, like Body Say was going to end, and it was 20 seconds over, I guess, when we were supposed to do the changeover. And I asked the guy, I was like, can we please it was a tour manager, and I was like, can we please let this song play out? I was like, it's 20 seconds and we're at a club. It's not like a festival. Festival's hard cut, you know that? And he screamed at me, and he was like, if you think you're playing Lollapalooza tomorrow, you don't know like how to get on time, like you have no idea what you're doing. And I literally start crying. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody saw me on like stage, and I like ran off. And then going into my Lollapalooza set, I was so nervous because this like old man like knocked me down like right before I was about to have this big moment. But then obviously I had my whole entire family there and all my friends, and they just lifted me up, and I went on stage, and I was so hype, and there was a live recording of it, and you can tell I'm so freaking hype. I'm like, oh, I'm screaming into the mic. I'm like, let's go. And it was so early, but I don't know. There was actually a good crowd, like a really good crowd that turned out for the Perry's one. But then the craziest one was the Tito stage one, which was the second day.
Yes.
I mean, it was the most electric crowd I've ever had, like to this day. And I stand by that. Like, bury me in Chicago. I love Chicago. But it was a crazy full circle moment. I still get comments like to this day of people being like, this was my favorite set from Lollapalooza. And I'm literally like, first of all, how? Second of all, absolutely no. But thank you. I'm like, I appreciated that lots of people had fun. But
that is so triggering that this person had to try to attempt to ruin your parade.
But that's like how it, I feel like that's how it is a lot, like as a female in this industry, you know, constantly every day, like people are trying to knock you down, and it's okay. He just hit me at a vulnerable moment. Most of the time I'm like, fuck you know what I mean? I'm like, but that day he caught me when I was vulnerable. But honestly, I feel like it made the feeling of having such a successful set like 10 times better, because then you just like constantly prove people wrong.
I mean, I cannot commend you enough, because the world of the nightlife industry is such a quaky place for women.
So scary.
I've worked in my different capacities, and I've had those moments too. I'm like, bro, you would not be talking to any dude like this.
Never.
And like, you see me by myself, and I don't know what kind of vendetta you have, but so how proud are you that you are one of the women in the industry that other girls are looking at you, just how you looked at Alice in Wonderland. They're like, Xandra's doing that. She's, you know, up on stage on TikTok. How does that feel, knowing that you're leading, you know, a march of young women that want to follow in your footsteps?
I mean, it feels amazing. I feel like the more women that we can get in the music space, specifically the DJ space, is so important. I mean, like, I've become friends with so many of the other female DJs that are like rocking this world. Two of them being like Sarah Landry and like Jackie Hollander, like they're Allison. Like there's so many like LPGOE, like so many amazing women in the space, and like we all have like very similar kind of stories of like constantly men being like, this isn't gonna work out, you can't do this and that, and you know, we kind of band together and we've figured out a way. But it wasn't easy, especially I was so young. I started like, you know, at 16, but started doing the clubs at 18, and I would literally get bullied. I feel like that's who I like, how I've gotten to where I am is just because I went through so much so young. Before I was ever on social media, I dealt with all that to the point where when I started blowing up on social media, I was like, nothing can hurt me. I was like, I've seen it all, I've heard it all, I get it, have your opinions, but I'm gonna do me.
And doing you and being you has led you to these opportunities, walking with Sports Illustrated, DJing for their events. Now you're part of their magazine.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You look fire in Jamaica, in the water, the clear waters of Jamaica.
Thank you.
Girl, that is so iconic. And that's why you're here in New York. You're celebrating the release of the magazine. When they asked you to be part of this issue, where were you? What was that like?
So for this year, I was in Aspen with a bunch of like my family and friends, and I like got a call. I think Jade, my posters, called me, and she was like, hey girl, like guess what? And I was like, what? I was like not expecting this, and she was like, you're going to Jamaica. And I was like, oh, like every single year, like I can't even explain like the feeling, because you just don't know what's gonna happen. And like Sports Illustrated is so last minute, and it's one of those things that I've never ever taken for granted and never will. And every single year I tell myself, I'm like, oh, like this was it, like this is my big hurrah, and if it doesn't happen again, I'm like I did it. I accomplished my dream. So it was really, really exciting that they decided to bring me back for this year.
So cool, because we've seen people that we love work with Sports Illustrated. Who are some of those people that when you're coming up you really look up to and admired?
Oh, yeah. I say like Kate Upton was obviously, she was the OG of, I feel like Sports Illustrated is that magazine that's always like kind of pioneered the way of they want to put somebody on the cover of that any girl ever can like look and be like, that is who I want to become, or that's who I want to be, or that's my role model. And for me, seeing Kate Upton on the cover, like a girl that you know, growing up, everyone goes through puberty, everybody has their own things. And I remember when I was going through puberty, I had no idea what was going on with my body. And like everybody was like, look at my body. I was looking at my body. I was like, I have no idea what is happening. And so being able to look at such like a strong, beautiful, confident women like on a magazine like that, and I saw somebody that looked like me, I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. Yeah. But her, and then definitely like Camille Kostek too. Like that was another one where I was like, these are people that look like me. And I feel like it's for so many other people too. And like the most amazing women that we've had on the magazine, like every like very, very inclusive, and so everybody can kind of see their role model. I hope.
No,
I pray.
for real. It's so cool. Huge congrats on that.
Thank
And
you.
even your music, you keep going up and up. You've never even been to EDC Vegas, but you are.
I know. I'm playing it. I'm like, so I played EDC Orlando earlier this year, but everyone's saying that like EDC Vegas is like a whole nother.
It's a beast.
It's the beast, and I'm so excited. I'm playing the main stage, but I'm literally opening it up. So like 7:00, doors open. Like Xandra's playing.
You are starting the party, girl.
I'm literally starting the party. I'm gonna start playing, and 0 people are gonna be there. But hopefully at the end, I know Dimension's right after me, though. So and he's like the sickest ever.
I mean, when you're hitting all these milestones, what are you thinking?
I don't even know. I always disassociate.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like. I need to remind myself every single day that like this is real life, and every single thing like I try to write down goals, and I have like a 1-year goal, like 5-year goal, 10-year goal, 20-year goal, and like where I want to be in my career. And it's just so amazing that I'm able to check off so many things that I wanted to do and I never thought that I was going to be able to do. If you asked me when I was like 18 that this is where I'd be, what I'd be doing, what I've accomplished, I'd be like, you're lying. And so I don't know, it's just it's amazing, and I'm so excited that these big festivals and like big like Insomniac and all these other places are believing in me, and at such an early place in my career. It's really, really cool and uplifting female DJs.
Well, because you see these lineups and there's not a lot of girls on there.
There's not a lot, but there's more coming though.
Yes.
Like the more people are coming up and up, but there's not nearly enough. It's like 5% out of like 95%.
What do you have to say for women that look up to you and young women that want to be like you? What are some pieces of advice you can give them?
I'd say never let a man tell you what you can and cannot do and what you're able to accomplish. 100%. Like you just got to believe in yourself, and if you're passionate about something and you love something and you work hard at something, you can truly accomplish anything. And just don't worry about what other people think. Everyone's going to have their opinions. You know, people may, if everyone likes you, that's not good, because that means that you don't want to be liked by everyone. You want to be liked by the people that you look up to. And that's kind of how I live my life. And I don't know. I'm like, everybody can have their opinion on me. I'm going to do me. I'm going to live my dream and keep doing it.
Is there anyone that you haven't met yet or worked with that you would love to talk to and ask a question to?
Oh, I mean, there's so many people that I've looked up to for so long. I mean, I've met like so many DJs. It's like crazy. Now I'm like trying to think.
What about non-DJs? They don't even have to be DJs. Anyone.
I'm trying to think of I would love to talk to Britney Spears. Right? Like, I want to hear like her full story and everything. I can't even imagine, like, I feel like coming up in the music industry now is so different than it was before. And how she started like so young, and like all the opinions and how it kind of evolves you as a person, and you know how she got to like where she was in a career and like what she's doing now. And it's not I'm very grateful to be in this space, but it's definitely not an easy space to be. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what lots of people forget. It's like, yes, you know, there's pros and cons to everything in life, and it's crazy place.
I also feel like if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
100%. You know, and that's why I'm like, I'm very grateful that I was raised the way I am, and thankful that I am a very confident individual, but it's you got to deal with a lot, but I wouldn't have it be any other way. So
I know this is part of your goals that you write down. What about those names, those artists that are just number one on your list to collab or work with?
Ooh, I'd say I just like love the pop girlies right now. I mean, like the Sabrina Carpenters, the Tate McRaes, the Gracie Abrams. I feel like having one of them do one of the top lines on my songs would be insane. I just love like the pop girlies. Like I don't wish I was one of them, but I see like Tate McRae like breaking it down and like all her dance moves, and I'm like, could I do that? And I'm like, I could not do that. But how cool would that be if I just like went and started doing like the splits on stage? A girl can dream. It's never gonna happen.
On it.
Yeah,
just some stretches in the morning, 10 minutes.
I don't think I could do the splits when I was like 7 years old, let alone when I'm like 24 and like I can barely touch my toes. So I don't see that happening in my future. But I mean, they're amazing, and everything that they're doing for the music industry right now is just so sick.
Are you set on DJing for the time being, or have you thought of maybe veering into other hobbies, or what are some other things that you like to
Girl,
get into?
I have no time to veer into other hobbies right now. I mean, doing like social media and the modeling, and now like full force DJing. I mean, I am on a plane more than I am on the ground, and I am really kind of putting my everything into DJing and making it in the music industry. And so I'm really focused on that right now. I'm putting my head down, doing all my shows, and working on so much music that I'm really excited for everyone to hear, and I hope they love it as much as I do.
Right now, where you're at, how does it feel to be Xandra?
Oh my God, that's a hard question. Like right now? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've gone through so much since being on social media, and so much has happened in my career, and I'm just so grateful to every single fan out there that has watched my content, interacted with it, been to one of my shows, downloaded one of my songs, and I'm just so grateful to them, and I owe everything that I have right now and that I feel about myself to them, because without them, I'm nothing. So that's what I have to say.
Yes. Well, that is a good place to be.
Yes.
We're so happy to be here watching the ride. We're
Thank
cheering
you.
you on from the floor. If we somehow sneak into the DJ booth, we just want to say thank you so much for being such a dope artist, and for just giving good vibes and love and light to everything that you touch. We cannot wait to cheer you on more and more and more.
Thank you so much.
And we can't wait for you to come back next time.
Yay, so
Bye,
excited.
Sabrina.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.